Hello everyone, welcome back. Savage is here, coming back with part 2 of Fight of Deku Head, Word, Soul, Magic. Regardless of which, let's just get right into the video. Right now, after 1 week, Izuku gets his message from UA telling that he won and managed, well, to get into UA in the first place nonetheless. After which, Izuku making his way to the school, right now standing in front of the door to his class saying, "Alright, Midoriya, this is the door to your class. Make sure to give it a good first impression." As he said in his mind, "I hope that Baku's not there. I swear to God, if I see him, as he shake his head saying, "Alright, big smile and don't act nervous." As he opens the door and the first thing he sees is Baku with his feet on the table and Ida scolding him. As when he see that, he said in his mind, "Of course, why wouldn't he be here?" As immediately Ida seeing Midoriya, so he dashes right into him, apologizing for his misbehavior with him in this entrance exam. Eventually, Izuku telling him that it's no worries, it's all good. As after which, from behind, hear another voice saying, "Hey, it's that kid with the weird quirk." As Izuku turning around to see Araka, she said, "I saw what you did. It's, it was amazing, but a bit creepy, to be honest." As Izuku said, "Oh, it's you." As Araka said, "So, you didn't tell me what was your quirk exactly. Like, you just I said something and it's like, I was slides right into your side. Is that your, like, do you have some sort of a telekinesis quirk?" Or, as eventually Aizawa from behind the door comes saying, "Why don't you keep these questions for later? Because now we have a school day to attend. Everybody sit in your goddamn seats." As everybody sit in their seats, Aizawa explaining that he is Aizawa, their homeroom teacher, and telling them all to put their uniforms on. Eventually everyone coming out after putting their uniforms on, and right now standing in the field has Aizawa looking at all of them saying, "Alright, let's start with a simple exercise to see and test your quirks." As he looking at them and looking on the list before staring directly into Midoriya saying, "Hey, put that book away." As Izuku said, "Oh, I need this book. It's, part of my quirk." As Mina said, "Part of your quirk? What is your quirk? Do you just talk and things happen?" As Midoriya said, "Actually, yeah." As Mina said, "Wait, how does that work?" As Aizawa said, "Well, whatever. If it's a part of your quirk, then come here and throw the ball, since you took the highest score in the entrance exam." As Baku saying, "What? He got the highest score?" As Aizawa said, "Yeah, he did. Have a problem with that? You took the second place." As Baku just getting angry, but he can't really do anything because Aizawa just do give him a menacing look. Eventually, Izuku standing in the circle and Aizawa telling him, "Throw the ball using your quirk." As Midoriya nods his head, after which Izuku just activates his quirk and his grimoire start floating by his side, pages flipping on their own, dark menacing aura surrounding him, and the cold chilling presence that is always surrounds him appears once more. As Aizawa, when he look at this thing, there's still something weird about him. As while Izuku didn't notice, Aizawa activated his own quirk, and Midoriya holding the ball, he said, "Go away," as he throw it into the distance, and the ball just goes flying straight into space, kicking the dust all around of him, but even pushing some of the students back. As after which, Aizawa watching this, he said, "His quirk, it didn't get erased? My quirk didn't work? What is the meaning of that?" As after which, when Izuku looking into Aizawa, he said, "Mr. Aizawa," as Aizawa stopped immediately before anybody noticing him. As he said, "Right, you got," as he looks saying, 1,500 meters. Impressive." As eventually, Izuku going standing by the rest of the students. As Mina saying that this awesome and fun, eventualize us telling them that he'll gonna increase the amount of fun that they're gonna have by the first one to fail, or the one in the rock bottom of the list on this exam will gonna immediately get expelled. After which, Shizuku pushing a bit harder on the exam, not noticing that there's somebody is keeping his eyes on him. After a while, when the whole exam is over, Aizawa revealed that the exam wasn't, nobody will gonna get kicked out because, he just tried to push them, make them surpass their limits. Regardless of which, the school day is over. Regardless of which, and the next day, what's the normal thing happens? Everybody deciding their, who will be the class president and everything. After which, in the normal thing happened, the cafeteria, you guys know the memo. What we really are here for is the next day, which is the time for them to start their little heroes versus villains. As after Aizawa saying, alright students, today we're gonna have a heroes versus villains match, but I'll let him explain. As someone sliding through the door saying, I am here. As All Might saying, coming through the door like a normal person. As eventually everybody getting excited, All Might explaining that they're gonna do a heroes versus villains training today. But, of course, a hero without a suit is like a... Actually... Oh, damn it, I forgot my papers. Whatever, ignore that sentence. The clothes make the pros. Is that a better line? As Aizawa said, get over with it already. As he said, alright then. As he pressed on a button and everybody finding their, hero costumes. As All Might saying, now put them all and meet me at the fake city Gamma. Understood? As everybody just doing what All Might told them to do. Eventually, while they are all waiting, just waiting and waiting for everybody to finish, All Might saying, alright, is everybody here? As immediately Araka said, wait, Midoriya is not here. As they hear a sound saying, I'm here. As when they look, it's almost like a dark, shadowy figure with horns, but when he comes outside of that tunnel, it just turns out that Midoriya was just shaking his head a bit and scratching it. As he said, why are you all looking weird at me? As Tokiyami said in his mind, it's almost like I saw something. Regardless of which, All Might said, alright, all of you are here. As after which, Araka seeing Midoriya's outfit, which is not the flashiest thing that she ever saw, is just a sleeveless shirt and a weird kind of pants. It's not really, what you would call heroic, but it do the work. As Midoriya said, hey, I just decided to go simple. As Izuku's in his mind, although I didn't feel like adding a lot of thing into my suit. I feel weird, as if I wanted to wear this. As Izuku's still holding his grimoire, of course he had a little extra thing by his side to keep his book on it. And of course, so he doesn't have to walk around carrying it. After which, All Might explaining that they were gonna have a heroes versus villains and explaining the way that the teams were gonna be working. They decided the teams. As after which, Izuku is going with the team of Araka against Ida and, of course, Katsuki Baku, which Baku is excited for. Regardless, Midoriya will be the heroes and Baku's will be the villains. With, of course, Ida and Midoriya with Araka, as they are waiting in front of the door, and All Might giving them 5 minutes start to plan their strategy. As Izuku said, alright, Baku would most likely come after me, so you stay in behind. I'll try to hold him back while you can distract Ida, understood? As Araka said, alright. As after which, the match start, and Izuku and Araka are walking down the halls. While they are walking, Araka saying, it's oddly quiet, don't you? As Izuku said, yeah, it's quiet for as suddenly Midoriya, it seems like his own reflexes just work, as if something just sparked in his head, stabbing him in the back of the neck. He just pushes Araka out of the way and jumping into the, jumping backward, as eventually Baku just coming out of the walls, slamming his fist into the opposite wall with an explosion in hand that Midoriya and Araka would have gotten hit by if it wasn't for Midoriya pushing himself and Araka away. As eventually Baku said, you lucky bastard! As eventually Araka said, how did you, as Izuku said in his mind, how did I know that would happen? It's almost like I sensed him. As Izuku's shaking his head and standing up saying, Bakugo? As Bakugo said, finally I got the chance to beat the living shit out of you. As immediately Izuku said, Uraka, you can go. As Uraka said, right. As, well, he was going to throw an explosion to Uraka, but Izuku said, go away. As Bakugo just flying to the opposite side, slamming into the wall before Uraka managed to run away. As Bakugo said, you can keep talking all you want, but you won't. Your big words won't save you, Deku. As eventually he goes flying into Midoriya before Izuku saying vacuum wall. As Bakugo slam against an invisible wall. As he said, stop playing me with these stupid tracks of yours! As he continued throwing an explosion. After which he jumps up in the air, going above Midoriya, but Izuku was going to say vacuum as Bakugo just throws an explosion into Midoriya, blinding him with the light of the explosion. As he throws an explosion to his back, pushing Midoriya into the wall. As he said, you can talk, but if you can't talk fast enough, you can't react into my attacks. And if you can't react into my attacks, I can beat you. As after a while, Bakugo tried to beat Midoriya, but Izuku using his skills to keep a distance away from Bakugo, and using multiple, times repeating the same words, go away, and of course, vacuum wall and everything, sometimes even trying to increase the pressure of the gravity on Bakugo, which caused the floor to crack a bit and causing them to go down by one floor. As after a while, Bakugo just breathing heavily and Midoriya is getting tired himself from overusing his quirk. After which, Bakugo getting angry saying, alright, I had enough of you. As his gauntlets start glowing. As Bakugo smiles saying, finally, they are fully loaded. You see these gauntlets, Deku? They aren't just for show. They collect my sweat and now they are ready to throw one giant explosion right into your face. As after which, All Might speaking into the mic saying, don't do it, Bakugo, you'll gotta kill him. As Bakugo said, oh come on, he can block it. As eventually, Bakugo just pulls out the pin, shooting the explosion to Midoriya, and Midoriya was about to say vacuum wall, but the words that he thought and wanted to say out loud aren't the same words that's been spoken. And subconsciously, the words that came out of his mouth is one single word. Return. As the explosion stops in midair, before it suddenly just spins around and just goes straight into Bakugo, hitting him right in his face. As Bakugo just goes flying outside of the building after a wall being exploded behind of him, slamming into the street outside. And Midoriya seeing this, he said, Bakugo? As after which he just looked outside of the hole in the building to see Bakugo in the distance on the ground, bleeding and burned, as Midoriya immediately jumped down the building using, of course, vacuum wall to slow down his fall, eventually running into Bakugo, seeing him very injured, having 3-degree burn marks and much just unconscious, as Midoriya said, Bakugo, are you? As if he eventually, when All Might saw this, he couldn't talk, he was shocked, so Aizawa took the microphone out of his hand and said, alright, the match will be stopped. Enough. As Uraka and Ida hearing this at the mic saying, what happened? There was just a giant explosion, and as after a while, the heroes and Recovery Girl and some, rescue robots or whatever they are called, they just take Bakugo away into the hospital, try to treat him, and Bakugo's situation is really bad. He's very damaged. All Might wasn't joking when he said that explosion could kill somebody. But thankfully Bakugo survived it. He's barely survived it. He'll gonna need quite a while in the hospital. After, the whole school day is over. Of course, Midoriya's and Uraka's match against Bakugo and Ida has been stopped and been declared as, as a tie, but the rest of the students continue their matches normally. When Midoriya tried to ask Recovery Girl about Bakugo, she said, he's in a very bad situation. We're gonna send him to the hospital, but he'll gonna live. As Izuku said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, as All Might putting his hand on his shoulder saying, don't worry, young Midoriya, it wasn't your fault. All what you did is trying to defend yourself. If anybody's fault is Bakugo's that he shot the explosion in the first place.
Who knows? Maybe that would have been you, the one that will be sent into the hospital if that attack actually hits you. As Midori just looking down saying, but I'm the one that sent it back into him, as All Might said, don't worry about it. It was just training, and Baku pushed it too far. You have nothing to apologize for. You protected yourself and tried to keep yourself safe. There's nothing to be ashamed of. As Midori just can't help but look down. Eventually, All Might dismisses Midori, telling him to go back home to take the rest of the school day off, because he'll need that. And after a while, as for Bakugo, and the next day he didn't come to school because he'll need quite the week till he be 100% healed. 2 weeks to be more precise. So, right now, and the next day when Midori goes to his class, Baku is nowhere to be found because he's still in the hospital, and Aizawa informed all the class about Baku's situation. He'll need 2 weeks before he's fully healed. As regardless for the rest of the students, today they have a rescue training. So everybody taking their hero costumes and get into the bus. As right now they are all talking, Fruppy said, so Midoriya, what is your quirk? As Izuku said, my quirk? Well, my quirk is, as for some odd reason, Midoriya just thought of a name. He doesn't know why or how, he just feels as if his quirk name is Word Soul Magic. As Izuku just speaking out the name, and Mina said, what does it do? I mean, I do realize that you speak things, but how do you actually activate it? As Izuku said, oh, basically whatever I say become reality. I don't know the full extent of it. All what I know is right now I can do simple commands as go away, come here, or vacuum wall, which is basically a wall in the space between me and anybody that is attacking me, that's protecting me from damage, or I can use it as a wall to push somebody down into the ground, increasing the gravity pressure on them. As Mina said, ooh, that's awesome. But what about that one word that you said in the, training against Bakugo, heroes versus villains? You said something like return. As Midoriya said, did I? As immediately Kirishima said, yeah, you said that, and suddenly Bakugo's explosion just spins around and it goes into his face. Poor Katsuki. We're gonna need time before he heals up. I'm sure he's angry that he's not here, don't you think? As Izuku said, yeah, Bakugo. As Uraga said, hey, don't feel sorry about it. It wasn't your fault. As Izuku said, I know, it's just, I just wishes that I just said vacuum wall instead of saying that word. As eventually, after a bit of talking, everybody arrives at the USJ, as they go inside and being greeted by none other than the Hero 13, as everybody just talking and Midoriya listening to her conversation or what she's saying before suddenly he just gets a weird stabbing sensation in the back of his head, as he said, what? In the middle. As immediately Uraka said, oh, what are you talking about, Izuku? Or Midoriya? As Izuku said, at the middle of there's something. As Aizawa said, what are you? As Aizawa looked into the middle of the USJ, he see a portal open up with villains pouring through it. As he said, what? As Kirishima said, fake villains? So cool. As Aizawa said, those aren't fake, those are real villains. 13, protect the student. As he looks into Midoriya while saying in his mind, how did he figure that out? Did he sense them? Well, there's no time to think about this now. As he said, all of you, leave immediately. As everybody trying to run into the gate, before suddenly someone teleported in front of them saying, hello everybody, we are the League of Villains. We apologize for inviting ourselves and coming here without a warning, but we thought that we could invite ourselves into this nice trip of UA, because we believe that today we are capable of killing the symbol of peace, though I do not see him anywhere between you. How sad, this would have been a perfect place for him to die. As Midori gulping his throat saying, I guess Baku is the lucky one for not coming here today, huh? And this one can leave it off, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what you think about this part and what do you think is going to happen in the next part. Well, I have nothing more to say than Severed was here.